जय सच्चिदानंद,
जय सच्चिदानंद,
जय सच्चिदानंद, जय सच्चिदानंद. શું છે મહાત્માઓ, શું આપણે વાત કરતા હતા કાલે?
આપણે યાદ છે.
પછી બધા રાત્રે રહ્યા, આપણે સવારે ઉઠ્યા એટલે વાત કરી ફાઇલ સાથે. ચાલો શીતલબેન, તમારે ઉઠવાનું થયું છે. હવે તમારો દિવસનું બધું કાર્યક્રમ, your daily activities will start. Satsang session will start. You get ready, so we be there on time. આ બધું સેલ્ફ ટોપિંગ ચાલ્યું. એટલે ફાઇલ પાસે બધું કરાવવાનું. Yeah. So we have to request file that you do this. All the activities is ours, all files activities. Yeah. So is it our file or it's files file? Files file. But normally what happens during the day? I want to sometime if it's too much work, I want to get rid of this file. So and we have to deal with the file with equanimity, you know. But then, I have to deal with the file. Right? મારે નિકાલ કરવાનો છે. મારે, when we say મારે, what happens?
Ownership.
Ownership. And who has to do nikal? File number 1. So, શું થાય છે? Yeah. So we change the role. Our role is an observer's role. And activity is on the files part. It will get done. It will happen. File will be active, doing all the activities. Our role is to observe. And whenever file fails to remain in Agna Dharma, or when we see that files haven't been dealt with equanimity and with balance, with our Agna Dharma Purusharth, then we guide file number 1. Shitalben, you forgot here. You missed your upyog here. You made a mistake here. Please correct it. And Shitalben corrects it.
File is in Agna.
Huh?
Mike.
File is in Agna?
File is in Agna.
We're reminding file number 1 to be in Agna. So our role is to observe file number 1 and remind file number 1 when she's out of Agna.
Yeah.
So મારે આજ્ઞામાં રહેવું છે એ નિશ્ચય બરાબર છે, પણ there is this distinction.
Yeah, એ તો રહેવું જોઈએ. I want to.
She's talking the view, observer state.
Yeah, એટલે નિશ્ચય. So file number 1 decides that I want to remain Agna Dharma. For the whole day I want to remain in form, upyog.
Right.
But then you can see as an observer whether Shital is in upyog or not.
Correct. Right. So is it correct to sometimes નિશ્ચય ના હોય ત્યારે કહેવું પડે શીતલને કે બરાબર નિશ્ચય કરો ને રિમાઇન્ડ કરવું પડે બધું, નહીં તો આમ હલી જાય બધું?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Huh.
Because file number 1, નિશ્ચય relative was, it's નિશ્ચય before.
Huh.
So file number 1 is, you have trained file number 1 that relative માં જ એમનો નિશ્ચય હતો. But now નિશ્ચય છે આજ્ઞા ધર્મમાં રહેવાનો, and now relative you have to keep on reminding file that no, you want to be in આજ્ઞા ધર્મ for conviction.
Is it like the default is વ્યવહાર, the past karma, એવું કહેવાય? I don't know, but the default is where
Whatever is unfolding.
whatever is unfolding.
Past karma, dictionary માંથી just take it out.
Okay.
There is no karma.
Discharge.
Cause and effect. કાલે પ્રણવભાઈએ વાત કરી ને. Yesterday Pranavbhai talked about cause and effect. The effects, there's only effect. Don't confuse yourself with karmas. We discuss bhav karma, dravya karma, no karma, just for our understanding. Dadaji says, we have made you free from all types of karmas. So you just observe effect as an effect. And we don't get affected by those effects. That's our role. So life is nothing but bundle of effects. And it comes in the form of suffering. Right? But it's effect. Whether it's a good suffering or it's effect. So we should be careful that we don't give any support from our Prakriti side so that it remains pending. You understand? Yeah. So it gets cleared. Now we were talking about apne. Who wasn't here in yesterday's session? I think most of... But all these seasoned Mahatmas, you know that. Even youth Mahatmas know that. But we just forget to practice. Apne. One word, I was talking to Sandhya Ben yesterday, even senior Mahatmas or junior Mahatmas, if you want to live Akram's Vignan, our Vitrak science, Akram Vignan, in one word, on both sides, relative side, which is Vyavhar, and real side, which is our Nishchay. Right? One word, which applies both sides. That's apne. And there are different stages to live it practically with file number 1. Right? Now Dadaji, what Dadaji said, this is your first neighbor. File number 1 is our first neighbor. So everyone has neighbors when you live, right? So how do you feel? That neighbor, you feel separate or not? You behave totally separate, right? But when it comes to this neighbor, that's how Dadaji felt. Someone asked me, Dadaji, you say is Mota Dadashri, how do you live? What is your experience when you say we live with file number 1? So Dadaji says, oh, I feel like I visited my neighbor's house. That's how he lived with file number 1. Like you visiting your neighbor in your neighborhood. See the separateness and the experience. And we can reach that stage slowly, slowly. For that, we have to leave the word apne. Now, where is Uma Ben?
She's not here yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday, one of the senior Mahatmas, Uma Ben, she picked it very well on the relative side. He says, oh, when I talk to my husband, instead of you did this and I did that and you didn't do that and you should have done that, ifs and buts. So instead of talking in a you and I language, what shall we do? One word. It will change everything. Every decision, any problem. What shall we do? It's very funny. I used to play cricket in New Zealand, in Gujarati community tournament, cricket tournament. And there is one team called His name is Apru. I am thinking, what kind of name is this, Apru? And then I asked them, why you call this team Apru team? Okay, these are all Sony people. You know, the jewelers community, Sony, right? Yeah. So all the Sony people, they got such a good unity in their community, right? So that
થોડું દૂર જતું રહ્યું એને સેટ કરી આપ્યું તું જે ઓકે there.
Yeah. So everything they do, આપણે આમ કરીએ, આપણે ચલો આપણે શું કરીશું? Even though they're talking to their friend or their kids or their wife or husband or their uncles, but આપણે, they only use one word, આપણે. So people call them Apru team. Yeah, they still play as an Apru team. They register their team as Apru. Right? So on the Vyavahar side, there is so much unity in that group. You know? So one word can make such a difference. And if we apply this in our own house and living with our family members, કેવું થઈ જાય ઘર આપણું?
સ્વર્ગ.
The problem arises when it starts with you and I. But when we say, what shall we do? Nikhil, what shall we do? Right? So Nikhil ne થાય, oh, Sheetal is at least asking me. And same goes for Nikhil. Nikhil asks you, what shall we do, Sheetal? How shall we deal with this problem? Right? So then the decision will come mutually. And we won't feel that I have to do things according to her or he has to do. Do you understand? Vice versa. We don't have to follow each other. દાદાએ કહ્યું કે આ ચાલવા ચલાવવામાંથી આપણે નીકળી જઈએ. Right? ચાલવા એટલે આપણે ચાલવું બી ના પડે અને કોઈને ચલાવવું બી ના પડે. Why are we here as different families under one roof? Everyone has one roof and all the family members. Why? Because in the past lives, આપણે એવી રીતે એમને ચલાવેલા, તો આજે એ રીતે ચાલવું પડે. એટલે કોઈને ચલાવવાના નહીં. અને આપણેમાં કોઈને ચલાવશે બી નહીં. અને ડિસિશનમાં કોઈનું એવું નહીં થાય કે આણે આ જ ડિસિઝન લેયા કરે છે, મને પૂછતા જ નથી. He or she never asks me and just keeps doing, he or she whatever, keeps on doing whatever they want to do. આ નીકળી જશે. બિગેસ્ટ થિંગ આપણે. અને કિડ્સમાં બી એક બોન્ડિંગ થાય આખું આપણે. એટલે કંઈ બી પ્રોબ્લેમ આવે આપણે. So, and that will also help them when they go out to work for someone else. Apne, it's a team spirit. It's already built in. They've been brought up like that. So they will merge in a team. Yeah. So apne is practically, as soon as you say apne, what happens? આપણી વ્યવહાર દ્રષ્ટિ શું થાય? So our I-ness, પોતાપણું શું થાય? માઇલ્ડ થઈ જાય. As soon as છે આપણે એનું ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ ઓછું થઈ જાય. So then it becomes easier to deal with files. And the other files can also feel your vibrations. Oh, he's so humble. So they enjoy your company and you enjoy their company too. First, એટલે આપણે on relative side. એટલે શું થાય કે we don't see each other's at fault. All the differences between different personalities. Actually, there is no difference. It's all one Pudgal, but we see the difference, right? But if we see with just one Pudgal and one intrinsic nature, which is what? Galan, discharge only. Then do we have any differences in our viewing? No. But all the different instruments, they have come with their own different specialities, and that's where we get stuck. We have our own specialities too. And everybody tries to protect their specialities. Dadaji call it, we have all come with some reserved plots.
Reserved plots.
And we very much like to protect that reserved plot within ourselves. And everybody has their reserved plot. So that's where the clashes happen. So our neighborly living starts first. As soon as your neighborly relation starts from there. Umaben, we just remembered you yesterday. You were saying that if I talk to my husband, what shall we do together?
He's right there behind.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirit bhai આવ્યા છે પાછળ.
Especially husband-wife always happens.
Come.
Husband feels that wife makes me do things always according to her wish. And a wife ne એવું થાય કે husband મને ચલાવે. A common story. But few Mahatmas like Arvind Kaka, yeah, he is different. No, there are some Mahatmas who have very good understanding. But Prakriti though still will play its part. But one word will change your life, I tell you. And the biggest thing will happen, although we say this is our first neighbor, unless and until you live as apne, your neighborly living doesn't start. Although it is in your understanding, but as an ongoing experiment, it doesn't start. But as soon as you say apne to file number 1, what happens? First thing, what happens? You tell me. The moment you tell apne, file becomes separate. So separation process starts. દાદાજીએ શું કહ્યું? આપણે છૂટા તો થયા છે, પણ છૂટા રહેવાનો પુરુષાર્થ. We have become separated from file, right? I'm pure soul, relative and real is separate. We know that, we understand that. But we don't experience that separateness. So to feel that separateness and to live your neighborly relation, the moment you say apne, you experience. Straight away, you will feel you are separate. So that's the first start. Even though you haven't ઉપયોગની ગોઠવણી બી ના હોય, કશું નહીં હોય. But as soon as you say આપણે, you try it today. In all that, like when it comes for our lunch time, you just say, ચાલો હવે આપણે તમારે આ લંચ લેવાનું થશે, ચાલો. So file will go to the lunch dining room and take lunch. And you will be the observer. Just one word. And apne is not just a word. This is an experience state of Dadaji, both the Dadajis. It's not just a simple word, apne. It's a word to feel and experience oneness with everyone. So, first we will experience oneness with all the other files in our daily interactions, in our families, with our family members, at work, everywhere. And then slowly, that oneness you will experience with your own self. So that's the final stage. But the oneness you will experience in your daily living. Parth, apne? When you say apne, you become two or one?
There's a mic there.
One? No, when you say apne...
No, turn it on.
Yeah, you experience separation.
You feel the separation,
yeah?
So one word.
But also oneness,
Yeah. But the same word you give to anyone outside who has not received Gnan, it won't work for them. Of course, it will help them on relative side, little bit. Even on relative side, that word has a lot of unity and oneness in that word, apne. So, this is how you can leave your Mahatma Dasha. Yesterday you were asking the question. So this is the starting point. See, we will talk doing satsangs and we'll talk for hours and hours and hours. But unless and until you live with file number 1, it won't result in your own real self experience, Shuddhatma experience. This is an experiment, ongoing experiment. We must understand this fact. Right? It's an experiment. The biggest laboratory in the world. And what are the biggest two things in the laboratory? I and mind. Simple. So in this experiment, we just have to remain separate. And we need to keep on parking our eye in the right spot. Keep parking. And one day that parking spot will be reserved for you. Then you won't have to find the parking in your parking lot because it's reserved for you. So I will be reserved. So the first, start living your neighborly relation. That's the first thing. That's just the starting point in your upyog. So even though આપણે ઉપયોગની ગોઠવણી ના થઈ હોય, but as soon as you say આપણે, you have started living with file number 1. File lives by itself. Life is getting lived out itself. You don't have to live. File will live by itself. But your living will only start. Your living is this inner living. Outer living is not in your hand. It will go by itself. Naturally. You have to make any effort to breathe, or it happens naturally. When you eat, do you have to make an effort? You have to make sure that it goes in your mouth and not in your ears? Naturally. So similarly, life goes naturally. But we think, we are living it. No, it's getting lived out, Dadaji says. Keeps on getting emptied out every day, every minute of the day. Right? The real living is inside. And that's the living as an experimenter. But here, the experimenter's state of being is different. Before, We were thinking and we believed and we lived as if we are the experiment and we are running this experiment. That's our ignorant state. Now that experimenter has become an observer. So instead of doing the experiment, now we are the observer of the experiment. And that is our Mahatma state. એટલે પ્રયોગી એટલે experimenter બદલાઈ ગયો. Experiment is still the same. But the experimenter is changed. His belief is changed. His way of looking at the relative side is changed. And the separateness. Because experimenter is different from the experiment, he can observe the experiment. Scientist never put his hand while the two chemicals are mixed. He doesn't put his hand and right? He observes what happens in the laboratory when they're working with the experiment, right? So similarly, we observe on our relative side, our experience. This first thing starts, neighborly relationship. And everything starts from there onwards. So there are 4 stages. First, to experience separateness as a neighborly relation. And because of that, what will happen? What's the second stage? Now, we are doing our activities. So who does all the activities? It happens through the medium of file number 1. So now you will feel you are an observer, you are not the doer, and file is doer, of course, but file is an instrumental doer. So you will enter into the second stage. You cannot jump straight to instrumental doership. You won't understand that unless and until you are separate. And then it's very easy to experience that you are just an instrument. એટલે આપણો નિમિત્ત ભાવ ખુલ્લો થાય. First, our neighborly એને પાડોશી ભાવ કહે છે. એટલે પાડોશી સંબંધ we live એને પાડોશી ભાવ કહ્યો. Second, નિમિત્ત ભાવ means we see file number 1 as an instrument and we leave separate and let the instrument do whatever activities it has to do. Well, there is activities doesn't bother us or it's not an obstacle. Any activity is our opportunity to experience our non-doership. Any activity. And that's what Dadaji is. So Dadaji, Gnani Purushni pratyek kriya divya hoy che, એવું કહે છે. So every activity is so divine. Why? Non-doership. There is no doership, zero doership. Only instrumental doership is there. Understand? Naimittik rite is doer, but instrumental doer. Totally observes, like that. So activities don't bother. So the doer is different and knower is different. The one who does can never know. કરે તે જાણે નહીં. And one who knows can never do anything. Knower cannot do a single thing. And doer cannot know a single thing. Right? So, karnar, doer and knower. Right? So then you will come to this doer and knower state, which is the second stage. So first your padoshi, neighborly relationship. Second thing is this instrument and instrumentality in doing all those activities. And there, as an experimenter, what you will do? All the Manan is doing all the activities. You observe from a distance. Have you ever, if you see Dadaji's photographs when he's eating or reading a book, right? If you observe it properly, then you will see that Dadaji is reading newspaper from a distance of maybe 1 feet, right? But you can see he is miles apart from that activity. Miles apart. I've experienced that. But in the photograph you will see he's reading newspaper, but you will see his face, expressions on his face, you can read it. You can read that photo, that he is miles apart from that activity. And that is zero doership. You see Dadaji's photos and you will see it if you observe it like that. It's miles apart. All the activity is still the same. But he is miles apart from inside. And that's how we have to remain. Yeah.
Is that why it seems so natural when
So
they're...
Yeah, natural. And zero doership, totally natural. So whatever file's activity is, let the file do it. I am an observer. It's happening through the medium of file number 1. Just observes. So the actions is not a problem, but we forget to observe and we miss the opportunity to experience our non-doership state. Yeah, Dadaji says, you drink tea, I also drink tea, right? And when we drink tea, when he drinks tea, when there is a tea time, Dadaji is drinking tea, and Dadaji says, yeah, we drink tea, we take the taste, we understand the taste from all the angles. Okay, was the tea strong or mild? Sugar, enough sugar or not? Right? He just knows that sugar is less or is too much sugar in there, not enough sugar. He just knows. But what happens with us? આજે નિખિલ કે આજે ખાંડ ઓછી નાખી લાગે છે. Sheetal, you forgot to put some sugar in the tea. And Dadaji, he just knows and drinks it. Whatever comes naturally, drink it. It doesn't go further, but no. Just a knower. That's it. Do you understand? પણ આપણે આજે આ ખાંડ ઓછી લાગે છે. એટલે what happens? ખાંડ કોને, ચા કોને બનાવી એટલે સીધું finger pointing, although you don't want to, but ક્યાં જાય? સીધી કિચનમાં જાય, અને કિચનમાં કોણ હોય? એટલે knowingly, unknowingly we do finger pointing at the other instrument. Yeah. But the knower only knows. Yeah. Dadaji did all same activities. But every activity is divine because he's totally separate from all the happenings, all the activities happening through file number 1. So that's the second thing, instrumental doership. There is a very good satsang regarding doer and the knower. And I think we did this satsang so many times. Now what happens? Lunch no time. Thai. Lunch time, what happens? What we tell to file number 1? What does the file number 1 tell you? Which language does it speak? ભૂખ લાગી છે. Yeah, okay. ભૂખ લાગી છે. That's the body telling you that I need some food. So it gives you information. But what happens when we receive that information? No. The file number 1 says, body says, મને ભૂખ લાગી છે. I am hungry. Right? But when we receive that information, we react. So we say, ચાલો જમી લઉં. જમી લઉં. Right? Now who is that? I. Let me eat. Huh? Who has to eat? File number 1 has to. But what do we say? Let me eat. So આપણે પેસી જઈએ છીએ અંદર. દાદાજીનું અદ્ભુત. Actually every activity, everyone is going to the same thing what we are discussing now. In every activity. અંદરથી જે discharge ego કહે છે, that speaks, ચાલ, let me eat. But file has to eat. Right? You are Shuddhatma. So Shuddhatma, do we have to eat as a Shuddhatma? Do we need food? No. We are observer. So let file eat. So that's why, okay, it's lunchtime. Okay, chalo. Sheetal, when? Now you have your food. So Sheetal will go and eat. And you will remain observer. Right? So yesterday Ashish was asking me question. How to slow down the activities, right? So even when you eat, if you eat with this upyog, and if you guide the file to take lunch, right? Then automatically, although your speed of eating won't change, but you will feel the slowness in the activity. Although you're eating at the same speed. Because you are different. Because your activity will become natural. You understand? Because you are not eating it, file is taking the food.
That's the miles apart part.
Yeah, miles apart.
Even
part.
the distance is this much.
Eating. Eat plus ing. Right? Yesterday we talked about being. Right? So every activity this happens. We enter the wrong zone. We enter into file number 1 zone. We step into file number 1 zone. Right? Manan, 1 o'clock થાય. ચાલો મોટલ જે આવા બહુ કામ છે. Does it happen or not? Right? So motel જવાનું છે, you need to go to the motel and attend to whatever problem you have. So the informer is telling you. The informer is called Vyavharyo. A Vyavharyo knows everything what you need to do in your Vyavhar to survive and to look after your files. Everything under informer is inside you. But the only mistake we make when the informer gives you information, rather than you let the file act on the information, you act on it. And this is the Ghar Ghar Ki Kahani, including Bhaveshbhai. I need to keep correcting myself as well. Yeah. Pranavbhai is very pakka in that. Huh? But
No.
sometime
Ask my files. It's not true.
એટલે આ ઘર ઘર કી કહાની, because
There is effort.
this is a habituated living with in file number 1 that makes us feel that way. So that's what yesterday we discussed. This is an illusion of the past doership. Although you want to remain non-doer, but the past echoes of the doership will make you feel, and it will appear that you are the doer. But then once you realize, oh, मैं क्या टोपी पहन ली थी? That's why Dadaji came with a topi. कोट टोपी वाले दादाजी हमारे. આપણા બધાની આ નેમ બેરરની ટોપી કેપ ઉતારી દીધી દાદાએ. Naturally, he came with coat and topi wale, but because we keep on different roles and we just put a cap. Each role has a cap and we just put that cap on and get involved in that role, get engrossed in that role. Umaben? Huh? Umaben is one and there are 100 roles. Huh? Yeah. એટલે દાદાએ શું કહ્યું? હું થઈ પડવું એ મોટામાં મોટી હિંસા છે. હું થઈ પડવું એ મોટામાં મોટી હિંસા છે. અને ઇંગ્લિશમાં કેવી રીતે કહેવાય?
To befall as I, with just the ease, this practice of this echo from the past, you become that I, you allow it subconsciously. Thai padvu is actually befalling.
Yeah.
Befalling upon you, meaning you don't even realize that it's happening to you. But yet there is that awareness of actually being engaged in that. હું થઈ પડવું is આપણે કહીએ ને બહુ આગળ પડીને ઉત્સાહી માણસ. It's actually the same concept, but because there is good thing happening and because we are enthusiastic to do things, people don't object at that point. But if it is not a good thing, if it's a normal life, and you step out your boundary to become that normal life enthusiast, then you will start getting inputs. Arranging this Gurupurnima, everybody likes the enthusiasm, right? But try that enthusiasm at home to just make food. People will object in the house. Why are you doing this? We asked Diwali आई છે? That is that. થઈ પડવું. People see this is also, but હું થઈ પડવું, Dadaji goes in the inner space. And inner space હું થઈ પડવું ના ચાલે. He says there is no room for that. One other thing, આપણે જે છે ને બે ત્રણ તમારી ક્રિકેટ ટીમ છે, અમારે તો આખું એક આપણે ગુજરાતી અમારું વોશિંગ્ટન ડીસીનું ગ્રુપ છે અને અહીંયા આગળ બધે પણ ઇવન ન્યૂજર્સી પેન્સિલ્વેનિયા પણ એ લોકો ગુજરાતી પ્રોગ્રામ કરે છે બધા. સો દેટ આપણે પાર્ટ ફોર ઓલ ગુજરાતીઝ ઓલ્સો દેટ કોમેન્ટ કેમ ધ ક્રિકેટ ટીમ દે આર ઓલ્સો પાર્ટ ઓફ મેરીલેન્ડ ક્રિકેટ લીગ ઓનર્સ છે બધા. સો દે આર ઓલ્સો પાર્ટ ઓફ દેટ ક્રિકેટ લીગ. અને દાદાજીએ બીજું એક કીધું, પૂરી મેં તમને યાદ હશે એક ટી શર્ટ ઉપર આપણે he did a beautiful satsang. Usually we say let it be, but he used let be or something like that. Let happen, right? So in that satsang he has said કે આપણે માટે, because he was doing that satsang with youth in English. So the word apne mate, he used let us. And many now will recall, let us do this. So that apne in English is let us do this. And if you host, if Dadaji has ever come to your home and you were serving breakfast or not, preparation. He would come sit in the living room till you call him for the breakfast. એટલે બેસીને પછી આપણે હવે બ્રેકફાસ્ટ લઈશું? He'll ask the host. So if you observe these little things, how he did, આપણે ચાલો આપણે જઈએ.
ચાલો આપણે શું કરીશું હવે?
હા, હવે આપણે શું કરીશું?
ચાલો આપણે હવે સત્સંગનો ટાઈમ થયો છે.
તમારું ઓન કરો.
So that's why I say apne is not just a word, it's a live experience, Dadaji's experience.
Yeah.
And that's why that word every now and then keeps coming in the satsangs or in his normal talk or when he's talking or yeah.
What was the Dada Bhagwan's sentence about હું પણું એ મોટી હિંસા છે? What was
હું થઈ પડવું.
થઈ પડવું એ મોટામાં મોટી હિંસા છે.
But that's about ignorant state. Yeah. That's we were, because different roles, we were becoming that role. To become the role is હું થઈ પડવું. Means whatever role comes in your drama, you become that role. That's called હું થઈ પડવું. એટલે કોઈના ફાધર થઈ પડ્યા, કોઈની મધર કોઈ થઈ ગયું, કોઈની આંટી થઈ ગયા, કોઈની ડોટર થઈ ગયા. થઈ પડવું means to leave that wrong belief. It's called થઈ પડવું. એવું જ ને સર? You believe and you leave as well. So you become the role basically.
Because it's not really you, and then it's hinsa because then you're...
Yes. That's called bhav hinsa. Hinsa in the sense, not in a general sense of violence, but it's called bhav hinsa. Means a vibhavness with English one.
Vibhav is the alternate, the interim, the transformational role. It's not there nor here, but in transition, the vibhavic dasha.
Why it's called hinsa, bhav hinsa? Because હું ને મારાપણાનો જે ભાવ થયો ને, that will come as an effect in the form of an happening, so that I-ness and my-ness gets emptied out in the natural process. That is why it's called hinsa. Because you have to go that avastha. And that happening will come and leave away. Do you understand? Yeah. એટલે મરણ આવે છે ને એમ શું કહેવાય?
Mara?
એને મરણ આવે છે એમ.
Oh,
એટલે અવસ્થા રૂપે you have to face it.
You have to face your own death, in that transition.
You have to face
actually
that.
let it go.
That's why it's hinsa.
You cease to exist as one identity, and you continue to transform into the other one. So your existence is still there, but you still to exist. So there's difference. To exist is an action. Existence is the bhav. All this is happening in the bhav pradesh, the realm of bhav. One thing, dravya karma, bhav karma, no karma, is done at the samarpan time, right? That's because that's how they are described in Shastras. As soon as that part is done, Dadaji, Sakshi, Bhav, Abhed, Bhav, all these Bhav words that are part of Akram Vignan, he will not put Dravya Bhav or Bhav Bhav. Bhav karma mathi, jo Dravya ma, there is also quality, so you can call Dravya Bhav. But that Dravya Bhav he will use for only the process of Pudgal. He will use your word Dravya Bhav, but in terms of Pudgal. He will use the Dravya Bhav as Chetan being the Dravya. Uniqueness only in the real side. Whatever is applicable only to file number 1. He has no interest to teach you how these other things happen outwardly. He gives you agna only. Call it vyavahar, be done with it. But he gives satsang in detail, in example, in this sort of, we call it code words. Let's. How much science is there in let's? How much? Volumes and many experiments. Everyone who is really in the science field has done let's. He cuts himself, the scientist cuts himself off from rest of the world, only focuses on his experiment, only collects his observational data, because he's only interested in establishing a truth that he's after. Even this simple vyavahar experimental protocol, if you follow, it's exactly the same concept and template for inner science also. Only the data that is applicable, inner world. Only the data and tabulation and organization of your conclusions and whatnot. If you just take that, Dadaji call it this. We give this out every time. Why? This is Anubhav diary. Right? This is your data collection. Because you do this is why you have your data, and therefore you can continue your experiment. And you can tabulate, observe, record your observations and experiences. It's a lived out part, but inner side. Then we observe him eating and smiling and talking and all that, but he is lived out as Bhogvato. Gujarati ma you use Bhogvata ma bhogvai jaiye. So when chalnar ne chalavnar ni વાત થઈ ને હમણાં, we say this in Naukalam. Karvu, karavnar, karta pratya anumodvu. We say this. But we have to connect these things. Satsadhan is not just out there to mechanically say. We have to connect these things that, in that satsang when chalnar ne chalavnar, now there is another third one we always say, karta pratya anumodnar. Even though you are not chalnar, even though you are not chalavnar, but you wish somebody does that. Anumodna. This is bhav pradesh. This is your inner projections that you send without actually acting or speaking. So even if you do that, that's why he calls it bhav hinsa, this mota moti hinsa. Mic.
સમજવું હોય તો એ વિભાવ હોય એટલે obviously that અવસ્થા એ વિભાવ ખાલી થઈ જવા માટે for that I-ness and my-ness to get emptied out, causal ફોર્મમાં એ અવસ્થા બોર્ન થઈ જાય ત્યાં. Everybody? Okay, you understand this part? In a causal form, એ અવસ્થા ત્યાં establish થઈ ગઈ. Okay? Now come to the present moment. Are we living every fraction of the second or we are dying? Are you living or you are dying every minute of the day? Yeah, because the moment you live 1 minute, you are gone. That 1 minute is gone. We are not living. We are dying every moment until we die. That's the final death. But actually, ક્ષણે ક્ષણે દાદાજી કહે છે આપણે મરી રહ્યા છે. And the world thinks we are living every moment. But in this every moment, our I-ness and my-ness gets emptied out. So now we connect that avastha which was born, and that same I-ness and my-ness is getting emptied out as an happening through this body, all the effects through the body. You understand? And you have to go through it. Every avastha, every second, you are dying. Because a avastha ઊભી થઈ, so you have to take a birth. And it has to go through as a suffering. And it's a natural process for that vibhav to get emptied out. And cleared with your observed upyog, remaining separate. So then, the avastha doesn't get reborn. Avastha I, આ શરીરમાં જીવાઈ, you remain an observer and you removed the minus part of it and you anchored in your eye. So there is no more avastha to be born again and which has to be suffered through the body. એટલે હિંસા આવી રીતે સમજવાનું છે. એવું સંધ્યાબેન એવું જ કે અવસ્થા ઊભી થાય તો પછી એની માટે બોડી હોય ને, પણ અવસ્થા જ ના હોય તો અવસ્થિત ભાગ ના હોય તો વ્યવસ્થિત હોય. વ્યવસ્થિત ના હોય અને પ્રતિષ્ઠિત ભાગ ના હોય તો અવસ્થિત ભાગ ના હોય અને અવસ્થિત ભાગ ના હોય તો વ્યવસ્થિત ભાગ ના હોય. યુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ? આવું છે. એટલે હિંસા આ રીતે સમજવાની છે, ભાવ હિંસા. એટલે એ ભાવ થાય છે ને ત્યારે એની સાથે સાથે જ મરણ આવે. કારણ કે એ ભાવ ખાલી થઈ જવા માટે એ શરીરમાં એ ભોગવટા સ્વરૂપે તમારી સામે આવે છે. ત્યારે આપણે એને વી હેવ ટુ લેટ ઇટ એમ્પટી આઉટ. એટલે આ આપણો આખો છે ને એમ્પટિંગ આઉટ પ્રોસેસ અત્યારે ઓનગોઈંગ. ઇટ્સ એમ્પટિંગ આઉટ experiment going on for everyone, but we do not allow it to empty. Sometime we take the taste of it.
રિઝર્વડ પ્લોટમાં ભરી રાખી.
રિઝર્વડ પ્લોટમાં, રાઈટ? કે થોડું બહુ સારું લાગે તો મજા આવી ગઈ, રાઈટ? તો આપણે પકડી રાખીએ એને. યુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ? તો પછી આગળ ફરી સજા આવે. પછી જેટલી મજા લઈએ આ બોડીમાં એટલી સજા આગળ આવશે. ઇક્વલ એન્ડ ઓપોઝિટ ફોર્સ. જેટલા ટેસ્ટ લઈએ એટલા ટેસ્ટ પાછા એની જગ્યાએ મૂકી દેવા પડશે. whichever taste you want to take it. That doesn't mean you have to be really serious અને સાધુ નથી થઈ જવાનું. બટ વી કેન, દાદાજી કહે કે બધું ભોગવો પણ ભોગવાયા વગર ભોગવો, કે જેથી ફરીથી તમને સફરિંગ આવે નહીં. Yesterday Ashish was telling, I said you can enjoy things without being enjoyed. Right? Don't let the objects and things and your perceived happiness enjoy you. Right? But you can enjoy. આટલું યુએસએમાં આટલી સરસ મોહભરી દુનિયા છે તો એન્જોય કરો ને. હે? હા, બટ એટ ધ સેમ ટાઈમ અહીંયા સુખ છે, વૈભવ છે, બધું છે, બટ એટ ધ સેમ ટાઈમ આપણો આત્મવૈભવ ખુલ્લો થાય એવું પણ કંઈ કરો. શું છે યાર મીરા?
When you were talking about apre, like, does that mean you're one with Ganu Dada? Or?
Yeah, that comes at the last stage, in the final stage. So apre is on two sides. One on the relative side, in our relative living, with our family members, at school, at work, everywhere, all our relative life. So we feel oneness with everyone we interact with. Right?
Okay.
And we see we are the non-doer. We see other people, other instrument also as a non-doer. So we don't see any differences in our vision, right? If we see them as a non-doer, then do we find them at fault? No, because they are non-doer. We understand that. So we won't see faults in them. We won't have differences with them. And we will feel oneness. That's on the relative side, right? So once you start living like this oneness, the way Dadaji lived, slowly, you will feel that oneness with Dadaji inside you. Understand? But unless and until you nurture and live that oneness in the outer world, in our relative world, you cannot feel that oneness inside. You understand? You can't go directly, I'm pure soul, me and Dadaji is one. You will say it, but you won't experience it.
That's true.
So first, Dadaji says, you become tasted and then I'm here, I'm waiting for you to become one with me. But first get tasted outside. Taste pass kari na ho, and then I'm here waiting for you. Then you can sit beside me. દાદાજી કહે છે તમે એવું કંઈ કરીને બતાવો કે મને તમને અમારી સાથે બેસાડવાનું મન થાય. So Dadaji is waiting for you, Meera. So once you experience oneness and you spread that oneness through your vibrations, divine vibrations, then Dadaji is waiting. Okay, Meera, come and sit with me now. You are tested. So the first you have to become tested in your relative living. The reality is there. It never disappears. It's always there. But first, આપણા બધા ભેદભાવ નીકળવા જોઈએ ને બધા differences. Right? And differences is not in the actual behavioral part. Differences are here. Here only. There is no difference. There are no differences outside. અહીંયા છે. દાદાએ કહ્યું કે all our relative living has to be viewed. એને નજરાવવું પડે. નજરાવાનું મને શું કહેવાય exact word? Certain words you just can't find English words, like it has to be viewed. Viewed.
Yesterday we were talking about looking, seeing,
looking, viewing and observing.
Then observing.
Right?
So this is the interim view part.
But sometimes
to be viewed out.
To be viewed.
Meaning,
Viewed with the vision.
Not just view it as an action towards, but to be viewed out from inside. You get viewed out, and that is Najranu. Najranu usually means it's a presentation. Yes. Najranu is a presentation, meaning you are giving someone such that nothing from outside obstructs that person who are giving Najranu to, with that bhav, that you be protected from all the evil, all the obstructions, and therefore you are Najrau. Tame Najar utaro naje is also Najranu. So now when your mother will do a Najar utarvanu to the child, mother is Najar ne utare che, but the child is being Najravu in that process. So it is motherly protection he's offering there. Tame Najrai jao, tame Najrao. That means under Dada's grace, you are being Najrao. Tame, your being is Dada tamari najar utare ena jevu thayun.
એટલે નજર ઉતાર એટલે આપણા બધા
We view ourselves inside.
આપણા બધા જે વ્યૂ પોઈન્ટ્સ છે બધા ડિફરન્સીસ દેખાય છે એ બધી નજર ઉતારી દેતા. એટલે એને કહ્યું દાદાએ પેલું પદમાં કહ્યું નજર નુરાની.
Najar Nurani, yes.
નજર નુરાની એમ કે એક પદ છે એવું.
Yes.
એટલે નજર નુરાની એટલે આપણે પોતાને જ સરસ રીતે જોઈ શકીએ વિથ અવર ડિવાઇન, બધે બી નજર, એવી નજર આપણને પ્રાપ્ત થાય વિથ ડિવાઇન આપણા વિઝન એન્ડ અપ્લાઇંગ ધીસ ટુ વ્યૂ પોઈન્ટ્સ. એટલે આપણે પોતે જ પોતાથી, આપણે તો હજુ તો બહારનું જોવામાં હજુ તો વી આર, હા, હજુ તો આ બધું બહારનો વ્યવહાર, અવર રિલેટિવ વર્લ્ડ, એમાંથી વી આર becoming tested. Tested in the sense that we clear that part. Pending ના રહે એ રીતે. પણ જ્યાં સુધી ડિફરન્સીસ દેખાય છે ત્યાં સુધી વનનેસ નહીં આવે. અને ડિફરન્સીસ દેખાશે એટલે ફોલ્ટ દેખાશે. ફોલ્ટ દેખાશે એટલે ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટ નહીં દેખાય, ડુઅર દેખાશે. ડુઅર દેખાશે એટલે ફોલ્ટ એની સાથે એટેચ થઈ જશે અને ઓપિનિયન બંધ થઈ જશે. એટલે આ ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટલ ભાવ સેકન્ડ સ્ટેજમાં આપણે આવ્યા. પડોશી ભાવ, ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટલ ભાવ. થર્ડ, as soon as you understand you are the instrument, you experience file number 1 is the instrument. Sheetal is instrument for herself. She is instrumental doer, not the actual doer. Right? So with this understanding, all the other Mahatmas, they are all actual, not actual doers, but the instrumental doer. Of instrumental doer, we know that is beyond his or her powers. They don't have independent powers to do anything. So that's why we can see them as non-doer. Because we saw them as instrumental doer, we can see them as non-doer. So once we reach that stage, then we won't have any problem. And then we will feel oneness, that final. There are 4 stages. So apne starts with neighborly relationship. Then if your upyog is firm and you continue that upyog journey within you, then you will reach the instrumental part. Instrument and instrumentality part. Then you will see them as a non-doer. You are non-doer, so they are also non-doer. That's the third. એટલે આપણો અકર્તા ભાવ, non-doership status. Right? That's the third one. Because of these 3, you will see oneness. You will feel oneness with the other. So these are 4 stages. But sometimes આપણું પહેલું સ્ટેજ સ્ટાર્ટ થતું નથી. We are separate, but we don't feel that separateness. We don't experience the separateness. Right? This is how it is. એટલે આપણે દાદાજી પણ આપણે શબ્દથી જ આખું એમનું વિજ્ઞાન ખોલ્યું છે. You read Aptamani, every page you will find that word આપણે. Every satsang you will feel apne. You will listen apne. Apne, apne, apne. This is one word. આપણું અક્રમ વિજ્ઞાન we can live in one word. આપણે બહુ જ વાર વાતો થઈ છે, but in this Gurupurnima, let's make a conviction that આપણે living આપણા ઘરમાં પણ કરીએ અને આપણી ફાઇલ નંબર 1 સાથે બી કરીએ. Right? In our family livings, at work, everywhere. Even at work, when we do apne, they will feel, oh, they would love it, honestly. Yeah, they will enjoy your company rather than feeling the competitive peer pressure and, proving yourself and they proving themselves and, who is doing better and all that. Team spirit. આપણે it will work really wonderful. અને છોકરાઓને જો આપણે પકડાઈ જાય બહુ સરસ, એમની લાઈફ બી બહુ સરસ જાય. આપણે એટલે આપણે એમાં બધું જ આવી જાય છે. 4 different stages.
ચોથો ભાવ. So revision wise, so the first one was Padoshi Bhav,
neighborly relation.
Next one was Nimit Bhav. The third one was Akarta Bhav. And the fourth one is
અભેદ ભાવ.
Abhed Bhav.
એટલે દાદાજીનું એક સૂત્ર છે દાદા ભગવાનનું કે અમે આ જગતમાં બે રીતે રહીએ છીએ, લઘુત્તમ ભાવે અને અભેદ ભાવે. આપણે એ લઘુત્તમ ભાવ બી ખુલ્લો કરે છે, અભેદ ભાવ બી ખુલ્લો કરે છે. પણ લઘુત્તમ ભાવની શરૂઆત થાય છે એ જેવો તમારો ઉપયોગ ને લઘુત્તમ ભાવથી તમે અભેદ ભાવ સુધી પહોંચી શકો. વન વર્ડ, એન્ડ યુ ડોન્ટ હેવ ટુ think how to apply satsang and what Dadaji explained. Just one word. And from Laguttam Bhav, utmost humility, to experience oneness. And that's why Apne Shabda is every page of Aptavani, every satsang you will see it. Because that is Dada, Mota Dada's experience, Dada Bhagwan's experience, and Kanu Dadaji's experience. આપણે સત્સંગમાં નથી સાંભળતા આપણે ચાલો હવે આમ થવાનું થશે, ચાલો આપણે અને ફાઇલને ચલાવી હોય આપણે સ્વરૂપે તો કહેવાનું ચાલો, પણ આપણે નહીં ચાલવાનું. બરાબર ને? હોર્સને હોય આપણે આમ ટેપ મારીએ એટલે હોર્સ ચાલે, તેવું છે. કહેવાનું ચાલો. આ ચાલો શબ્દ ઇઝ નોટ માઇન ઇઝર. એવરી વર્ડ ઇઝ દાદા's. You will see Aptamani Chalo in lot of places. Because that's how we lived with A.M. Patel. That's why these words are so effective. હવે ચાલો શબ્દમાં કોઈને, but for Mahatmas it's a divine word. Because there is experience behind that word. Chalo, because that's how we walked, that's how we let A.M. Patel walk. Chalo. And that's why the દાદાજી કે અમને આખા વર્લ્ડમાં બેસ્ટ કંપની અમે શોધવા ગયા, અમને મળી નહીં. એટલે પછી કહ્યું કે આ A.M. પટેલ એ જ બેસ્ટ કંપની છે. અમને કોઈ એવું મળ્યું જ નહીં, કંપની જ ના મળી. દાદા કે આ A.M. પટેલ રૂપી અમને કંપની મળી ગઈ. તો પછી અને એમાં પછી એમનું I.M. ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટલ સાઈડ બી ખુલ્લું થઈ ગયું અને રિયલમાં તો હતું. આપણે તો દાદાજીની વાતો જ કરી શકાય, એ બિયોન્ડ વર્ડ્સ છે, એ તો અનુભવથી જ આવે આપણને. પણ આપણે આ જસ્ટ ટુ અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ that these simple words are not just mere words. They got experience strength behind it. અને વચન બળ, બીકોઝ એ દાદાના શ્રી મુખેથી નીકળેલા શબ્દો છે. ઓલ્ધો they are very common words. આજે તમે કહો હાથી મોક્ષ નાથી સંસાર, વન વર્ડમાં મોક્ષ હોય તો કોઈ હશે તમને કે આમ ગાણું થઈ ગયો છે કે આજે બહાર વાત કરીએ તો શું થાય આપણું? ભગીરથભાઈ, કોઈ તમે જૈન કોમ્યુનિટીમાં કહો કે હાથી મોક્ષ અમને કહ્યું છે, એક જ શબ્દથી અમારો મોક્ષ થઈ ગયો. 1.5 letter, not word, 1.5 letter. હા, તો કોઈ બિલીવ કરે આપણને? તો વ્યવહારમાં કોઈની હા થતી નથી તો પછી મોક્ષની તો ક્યાં વાત થાય છે? હા, યસ લિવિંગ. હા હાજી. એટલે these are
મને આ સમજણ ના પડી છેલ્લા તમે બોલ્યા હાથ.
હા, યસ લિવિંગ. યસ લિવિંગ.
હાથી એટલે
હા મીન્સ હા, યસ 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 લિવિંગ. યસ લિવિંગ. યસ લિવિંગ મીન્સ શું મા બેન? That doesn't, you need to say yes to everybody. બધા કે હામાં હા નથી પુરાવાની. યસ લિવિંગ મીન્સ આપણી અંદરથી નન્નો નીકળી જાય. નન્નો મીન્સ નો પાર્ટ નીકળી જાય, એને યસ લિવિંગ કહ્યું. અને નન્નો ક્યાં છે? નન્નો ઇન ધ સેન્સ આપણું બધું શું કહેવાય, અને બધું ખસેડવા જઈએ છે ને આપણે વ્યવહારમાં. બધું આપણે ખસેડીએ, વ્યવહારને આપણે ખસેડીએ નહીં. દેટ મીન્સ વ્યવહારને ખંડિત ના કરીએ, અને કન્વિક્શન છે આપણું છે એને સ્ટ્રોંગ રાખીએ. એને યસ લિવિંગ કહ્યું. બટ નોટ ટુ જસ્ટ સે યસ ઇન એવરીથિંગ. નહીં તો લોકો તમને ધક્કા મારીને બહાર મૂકી દેશે. હા, એટલે ત્યાં તો યુ હેવ ટુ બી સ્ટ્રીટ સ્માર્ટ દેર. બટ ઇટ્સ ઇનર લિવિંગ. યસ લિવિંગ ઇઝ the way nature keeps us, the way circumstances keep us. And we don't have any demands or any reactions. And thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, Vyavasthit. That is called yes living. Whatever happens, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's yes living. એટલે જેને યસ લિવિંગ કેળવાઈ જાય પછી એને કોઈ કમ્પ્લેન્સ જ ના રહે. નો મેટર વોટ એવર કમ્સ ઇન ધ લાઈફ, ગમે એટલા મોટા, થેન્ક યુ, થેન્ક યુ, થેન્ક યુ. આપણે ઘણા બધા મહાત્માઓને મેં જોયા છે યસ લિવિંગવાળા. યસ લિવિંગ એટલે હાથી મોક્ષ નાથી સંસાર. બ્રેક